Bro, they just made a fucking Arby's reference.
This show is trash! Yo, what is up, guys? Shatterphix here, and today I got a brand new type of commentary video. It's not like my story times, and it's not like my Dr. Phil commentary video where I'm just reviewing on clips and giving my own personal opinion. But with this commentary, I am going to be reviewing and talking about a piece of media that I think is the most atrocious thing to come out of humanity. And of course, it is the Fairly Odd Parents, Fairly Odder 2022 reboot. Now, if you've been living under a rock or weren't a 2000s kid, the Fairly Odd Parents was a cartoon on Nickelodeon about a 10-year-old named Timmy Turner who was granted these two fairies named Cosmo and Wanda. And Timmy were granted these fairies because he's going through depression, his parents neglected him, he got bullied, and he had an evil babysitter. So the fairies were kind of granted to him as his way of coping through life, I guess. And it ended up running for about 17 years, being Nickelodeon's second longest running cartoon, right behind SpongeBob, finishing off with their disastrous season 10. But honestly, I did not think any piece of media could get worse than Fairly Odd Parents season 10. Fairly Odd Parents season 10 is the equivalent to the fucking Nut Shack, okay? But this Fairly Odd Parents reboot honestly exceeded my expectations with how bad it would be. It made a new fucking bar of bad. I have genuinely never saw a show more annoying, more just fucking problematic than the fucking reboot of the Fairly Odd Parents. It's so bad. And you may be asking, what's so bad about it, Shatterphix? It's the Fairly Odd Parents. Who doesn't love the Fairly Odd Parents? But when they're brought back in this way where it's a shitty live action Disney wannabe-esque sitcom with a shitty laugh track, so why would I love that? Why would I love the Fairly Odd Parents coming back to this fucking awful piece of shit? Like, for real. And I know I sound mad, okay? And genuinely, I'm not even mad that they messed up the Fairly Odd Parents. What I'm mad about is they somehow lowered the bar and made the worst show I have ever seen in my entire life. And trust me, I know I have not gone to my reasons why I think it's bad and why I think it's the worst show I have ever seen in my entire life, but we're getting to that right now. Alright, so it's time for part 1, which I would like to call It's Worse Than Being Generic. And just to say this right now, by the way, I have no idea how long this video is gonna be. It could be 15 minutes, 20 minutes, maybe even 30 minutes, I don't know. But I got quite a bit to say about this fucking show. Alright, well, let's get started with part 1, shall we? I don't even know if I could call this show the most generic show I've ever seen, because I think even calling it generic is a compliment, okay? It's like the show tries to do everything that all these new shitty live action Disney Nickelodeon sitcoms are doing, but this show, it just falls flat on its face. And honestly, I think they try way too hard, and because they're trying that hard, it just comes off as forced. All the references, like the fucky Starbies one at the beginning of the video, I mean, come on, dude, like, Click Clock, are you serious? That is the most generic parody name of TikTok I have ever fucking heard. And I think that calling that generic is a compliment. It, like, tries so hard to be this quirky, endearing, funny comedy, and it just ends up doing all the opposite things. Like, I get self-referencing your older show, but they do it to a point where it makes you just want to watch the original show more, because what you're watching now is essentially a dumpster fire being lit, and you're just watching it burst into flames. And that fire, it just never dies down. And of all things, they include a fucking South Park reference.
Bruh, did they really just use a fucking Cartman reference? I'm dead.
I just really want to know who this show is catered for. What audience does this show have? Because it's making South Park references, and it's supposed to be meant for kids, right? Where's the middle line? Like, is it for adults or is it for children? I'm honestly confused, because sometimes I'm thinking it's meant for adults. It's kind of like with the first episode of the pilot, right? Where Timmy pretty much tells Cosmo and Wanda that they can't go to college with him. And my question is, why did Cosmo and Wanda stick around till he went to college? Which honestly contradicts like the whole premise of the original cartoon, where it was once when a kid grows old enough, their minds are erased and they'll forget about their fairy godparents. So, you know, what happened to that, right? But then again, the last season of the Fairly Odd Parents pretty much butchered Hartman any established lore made in the show previously. And like, the movies did this too, by keeping a loophole with Timmy being able to just keep his fairies pretty much forever, which I think is stupid. Part of growing up is just like letting go of certain things, of just fucking maturing and being able to just wish whatever the fuck you want all the time. No, that's not how life works. But going back to what I was saying earlier, whenever Timmy was talking to Cosmo and Wanda about not being able to take them to college, and since Timmy told Cosmo and Wanda they couldn't go to college with him, he's gonna give them to his cousin named Vivian Turner. And here's where I'm getting back to my main point, right? It just seems so out of character to me that Wanda's the one who starts calling her a mess. Like, isn't Wanda the more, like, soothe-hearted one? Like, isn't Cosmo the one who just kind of blurts shit out? Because, I don't know, with this reboot, it just seems like their roles are reversed. Like, it seems like Cosmo's almost the smarter one, and Wanda's the stupider one. And it just doesn't make any sense to me. It's like Butch Hartman got back to the script writing room and was like, okay, how do we write a show? Oh, I got an idea. What if we write very poorly, don't care about our show whatsoever, don't care about the lore, and what if we just fuck it all up, just for the hell of it, right guys? I mean, nobody cares about the Fairly Odd Parents, nobody cares about the fucking legacy, right? I'm Butch Hartman, I could get away with anything, like how I got away with the O-Axis Entertainment scam. Like, I'm sorry, I'm not trying to disrespect, but genuinely, how do you come back to your show, your legacy pretty much, your most popular show, and how do you give it such disgrace like that? Such just unappreciation for it to the point where you make something lower than the bar initially intended to get. You made something, Butch Hartman, that is worse than the Nut Shack. And that's nothing to be proud of. Your ego needs to be put down a notch, honestly, because I know you feel like the Fairly Odd Parents is like the best property ever made in the entire world, but the pure, just honest facts about it is it's really not. The last seasons you made of the original show were just awful. I mean, some of the worst TV you could possibly get out there, and yet your ego is just feeding you all this shit. Like, your ego tells you, oh, you don't know how it's like to be an animator, so you can't judge. Bitch, what do you mean? That's like telling a fucking Yelp reviewer that they can't review your food because they didn't cook it. That's not how life works, dude. Get off your fucking pedestal, honestly. But this Fairly Odd Parents reboot is just more than generic. It really is. And I thought the Avatar: The Last Airbender movie was something special, a fucking special case, because of how just bad it was. But this show, it honestly takes the cake for me. It fully takes the cake. This reboot honestly feels like such a cash grab, such a last minute thing, and such an effortless thing. Totally uninspired and killing any lore off that still was existing within the show. And with the amount of shitty actors it has, the amount of shitty sets it has, and the godforsaken laugh track they play every 5 fucking seconds, it is miserable. It is actually atrocious. And so this sitcom, this reboot, it is more than generic. It is so much more that there is not a definition for being more generic than generic, okay? It is that bad. Let's get to part 2 already. Let's go.